Are you wanting to eat more plant-based but find your family lagging behind? They don't seem as interested in improving their health, and some days it's a challenge even getting them to try a new vegetable dish at the dinner table. So, how do you get them to like other plant-based foods, like more whole grains? Join me inside this episode and let's find out. I'll give you a top tip for cooking with whole grains and share with you how I was able to help my family with young children integrate a few different types of whole grains into their meals. I want to help you do the same with your spouse, children, or grandchildren. Ready? Let's go! Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. I first want to thank a listener with Apple ID Podcast Lover for Life 2 for taking the time to write and leave this 5-star review on the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. She wrote, "Just what I need. I've been thinking about switching to a plant-based diet for a while now. I love how transparent Anna is about sharing the positive and not so positive side of eating a plant-based diet. I especially love her tips around what to do if you're feeling bloated, and her green smoothie recipe is delicious. This will be one that I listen to weekly." Thank you for your 5-star review and positive feedback, my friend. I'm so happy to hear that you are enjoying this podcast and that it is helping you more seriously consider trying a plant-based diet. Thanks for giving the green smoothie recipe a go, and that's great that you enjoyed it. I definitely hope you will keep listening and try out more tips, recipes, and strategies from the episodes. I'm cheering you on towards the best health. Friend, if you would like to support this podcast so it can reach and help more people like this listener, you can do so by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. If you have an Apple device, find the Apple Podcast app icon. It's a purple square with white circles. Open it, then search for Plant-Based Eating Made Easy. Once there, scroll all the way down past the 5-star symbols, then click on Write a Review. Leave a star rating, write your review, and then tap Send. Please share your heart. It brings me so much joy to hear from you. Tell me how this podcast has helped you so far on your journey towards eating plant-powered. I would love to hear about it. Thank you for supporting the podcast in this way. Now let's talk whole grains and how you and your family can enjoy more of it. First, if you're worried about eating whole grains in the first place, I want to reassure you. Whole grains can and should be a part of a delicious plant-based diet. That's because they can nourish your body with protein, key vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, fiber, and important antioxidants. And they won't make your meals too carb-heavy or worsen your diabetes. There's so much more I could say about this, but we'll need to save that for a future episode. In this episode, I want to focus on the practical aspect, how to help you and your loved ones enjoy more whole grains in meals. Now, if you're just moving into plant-based eating, the idea of adding any new plant-based foods to your meals can seem daunting. Not to mention trying to help your family make a change as well. If that's the case, I would say focus on yourself first and get comfortable with new ingredients and making some simple, tasty plant-based meals and learning the essentials to living this new way. If you're at a loss of how to do this, come join me inside the Plant Power Life Transformation course. This course will show you, step by step, how to transform your meat-heavy meals into plant-powered ones, so you can gain confidence and master the basics of plant-based eating well. You'll also get to try out some easy plant-based recipes for yourself that can later be introduced to your family. But for those who have the whole family on board to make a plant-based diet change, or who have been in transition for a while now and feel you have the basics of plant-based eating down, now would be a great time to think about how to help those around you enjoy more whole plant-based foods for health. And whole grains would be a great category to build into the meals you serve your family. First, let me share a top tip about whole grains that will help you in cooking them. And it's this. Some whole grains cook up better and into a softer texture if you soak them overnight in water first. Not for all grains, but some of them. For example, brown rice, wild rice, barley, and millet will be easier to cook into a softer grain if you soak them first overnight. So give this a try. I actually go into cooking whole grains in a lot more detail, along with tips for flavoring and making them more delicious in the Plant Power Life Transformation course. Now here's a key strategy you can try with your spouse, with your children, your grandchildren, or even with yourself if you are finding it hard to get used to a new whole grain. For many years, my children were used to having only two kinds of whole grains at dinner, either brown rice or quinoa. Sure, I had tried other grains like barley and millet with them, but they didn't really take to them. And being an Asian family, we will often serve some cooked whole grain as part of the dinner meal, along with 1 to 2 main dishes and at least one vegetable side dish. But of course, we have other family favorites like pasta and burrito nights too. Well, a few months ago, I happened to come across some bags of a 10-grain mix being sold at an unbelievably low price at my nearby grocery store. Each 3.3-pound or 1.5-kilogram bag was priced at only $1.99 and contained a mixture of oat, white wheat, barley, millet, oat flakes, buckwheat, brown rice, black glutinous rice, red split lentils, and mung bean. Looking closer, I realized why they were being sold at such a discount. The expiry date on the package was just 2 months later. But I knew I could get through these packages pretty quickly, so I brought 4 packets home. Well, the first time I made it, it wasn't that well received. I followed the package instructions, but it turned out rather dry, and even I didn't like it that much. And my kids definitely didn't like it. It was too big of a change from the soft brown rice or quinoa they were used to. And because of the black rice grains within the mix, the final cooked whole grain mixture was pretty purple in color. My daughter even specifically asked me not to give her the purple rice, saying she preferred quinoa instead. Needless to say, I was a bit discouraged that the first try failed, but I wasn't about to give up. I then decided to try a phased-in strategy. Let me explain. Here's what I did. For a week or so, I used a ratio of 1 3/4 cups of brown rice to 1/4 cup of the multi-grain mix. Then the next week, I changed this ratio to 1.5 cups of brown rice and a 1/2 cup of the multi-grain mix. In the third week, I changed this to 1 1/4 cups of brown rice and a 3/4 cup of the multi-grain mix. Then I kept adjusting the ratio of brown rice to the multi-grain mix until about a month later, I was using only a 3/4 cup of the brown rice to 1 1/4 cups of the multi-grain mix. How did I know this was a successful strategy? Well, about 3 weeks in, my 5.5-year-old son asked me one day, "When are you going to give me the purple rice?" And he actually said, "I like the purple rice." Then another week or so later, my daughter started to complain when I gave her cooked quinoa with her dinner. I told her it was because she made that request for me to give her quinoa instead of the purple rice. But then she said, "No, I like the purple rice." Now that's a change. Needless to say, I went through the bags of the multi-grain mix pretty fast. And now, because my nearby grocery store no longer sells it, I've started mixing soaked wild rice with the soaked brown rice to cook. It still turns the final rice mixture purple, and my kids love this combo just as much. It's a win-win strategy. So today I gave you a top pro tip for cooking with whole grains and a smart strategy you can use to help yourself and loved ones enjoy an increasingly greater variety of whole grains in your meals. And that's to use a phased-in strategy and mix a new whole grain into a familiar whole grain your family may already be used to. Then, over time, you can increase the amount of that new whole grain and reduce the amount of the familiar whole grain in the cooking process. Now here's an action step. Pick a new whole grain you would like to try. Perhaps that is brown rice or quinoa. Then begin to gradually incorporate that into the cooked whole grain you're already serving at home. I hope you're also encouraged to not give up trying new plant-based foods and ingredients within your family. Don't just try it once, and if it isn't well received, give up offering that food altogether, assuming that you or they will never like that food. Give that food another chance and try it in another way or to integrate it using a different strategy. Don't just cross it off your list. You'll lose out on the potential future enjoyment of that plant-based ingredient. I'm so glad my children are now enjoying a greater variety of whole grains. This is definitely a plant-based win for my family in 2025. Friend, it's my passion to help you and your family make a successful move into plant-powered eating. And my Plant-Powered Life Transformation course will give you all the tips, tricks, practical strategies, meal ideas, and recipes to make it work in real life for you and your loved ones. This self-paced online course will help you enjoy plant-based eating, spend less time in the kitchen, and stay plant-based eating on a budget, so you and your family can be in the best health and enjoy life together for as long as possible. Find out more at plantnourish.com/PPLT course or see the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. If this podcast has helped you, please take a moment to rate and leave a written review on the Apple Podcast app or on iTunes. Knowing how this podcast has made a difference in your life never fails to light me up. I may also select your review to be read on the show. Remember that moving to plant-based eating can be simple and doable, even with your existing health challenges and busy lifestyle. If you have a plant-based diet question you'd like me to answer on this show, share that question with me using the contact options in the show notes. Thanks for joining me today, and I can't wait to connect with you again in the next episode. Until next time, keep plant-focused and thriving, my friend.